Hi, my dear fellow listeners. Come back again in this simple podcast. Last week, I didn't record any podcast because I felt tired and I was very busy. That's why in this week, I want to share about my concern about this topic. It's personal branding. Some friends who I met in real life and also a writer say it like this. Why we are as a writer should perform on the social media. We don't have any interesting life outside our writing experience. Sometimes, as an introvert who don't want to appear on social media, but actually I'm extrovert. But even though I am an extrovert and I love to connect with people, I don't like to show my face too often, and also I rather dislike the activity of editing videos and about reels and something like that. I just enjoy to create a content, and also I can edit it on Canva. But I watch many tips about content creation and they say that video can boost our social media performance. But I don't want to live a fake life. I just want to be myself. But how? That's why I hope you can enjoy this simple podcast until the end of the episode. Have you ever felt uncomfortable when hearing the words personal branding? Maybe it sounds too polished, too performative, too much like turning yourself into a product instead of a person. Especially if you are a writer, that discomfort can feel even stronger. Because many writers didn't start writing to become influencers, they started writing because they had something honest to say. For me, I started my writing career because I loved sharing on blog. And I also love to write fiction stories on my book. That's why becoming a writer is like the thing that I really want to do since I was a little kid. I didn't think about how to be an influencer or how to be a create content creator. I just care about the writing activity. But here is the thing. Personal branding is not about pretending to be someone else. It's not about creating a fake personality online, and it's definitely not about acting confident 24 hours a week. Because I thought about writing, I want to share about my writing experience, the bad and the good side, and so on, and also about my projects. So if I should copy the influencer fake life or how to be a great writers who won many things, I thought that it's a difficult life if I want to show like this. Because every writers or every creative person has their own path. They also have their unique way to live their creative life. So I took a conclusion. Personal branding is helping people understand who you are, what you care about, and why your voice matters. That's it. And honestly, I think that writers already have an advantage here because writing itself leaves fingerprints. Your choice of words, the topics you return to, the emotions inside your sentences, the way you observe the world, and so on. People can feel authenticity before they can explain it. You have probably experienced this before. That is personal branding. Many writers think that branding means becoming marketable. So suddenly they force themselves to post motivational threads every day. They imitate successful creators. They use trendy language that doesn't even sound natural to them. And over time, something starts feeling exhausting. Because maintaining a fake identity always consumes more energy than expressing a real one. You can grow your audience for a while, but internally, your writer heart disconnects from their own voice. I think this happens because social media often rewards visibility more than depth, and writers naturally value depth. So, as a writer, sometimes we begin to wonder, do I have to become louder to survive? And the answer is no. You do not need to become louder. You need to become clearer. There is a difference. A strong personal brand for writers usually comes from consistency of perspective, not consistency of performance. You do not always need to brand yourself around achievements. Sometimes people connect more deeply with your process than your success. A writer sharing creative struggles honestly can become more relatable than a writer constantly announcing accomplishment. Because readers are not only looking for experts, they are looking for resonance, and they also want to feel understood. When I want to learn about personal branding and also leverage my visibility as a writer, I look at some creators that I admire. And one of the creators that I love is Olenka Lutonska. She is an NLP expert and also she has a great business. And I learned how she bring herself with authenticity. And she also very honest to the audience. And now I want you to think about the writers or creators that you personally admire. After I see and also learn from some mentors or some experts that I really admire, I start to behave and also speak. After that, I evaluate myself to speak naturally that show more unique and show about me. You should trust your own voice. That trust is the real currency of your personal branding. It's not about virality, not about being aesthetics. So, if you are a writer who try to build your presence without feeling fake, maybe you should start here. Instead of asking, how can I look impressive online? You can ask, what themes genuinely matter to me? What kind of emotional experience do I want readers to have after reading my work? What values consistently appear in my writing? What parts of my perspective feel naturally repeatable? Because personal branding becomes sustainable when it grows from identity, not performance. So you can do it slowly. Slow branding built on truth usually lasts longer than fast branding that is built on trends. So you don't need to sound more confident than you are. You don't need to manufacture a new personality. Sometimes the strongest brand is simply a writer brave enough to sound like themselves consistently, quietly, clearly, and honestly. Maybe that's the kind of branding the internet actually needs more of. Not more polished people, just more real voice. I hope after you listen to this podcast and also my simple opinion, you can have your own perspective and also start to show your uniqueness and also your experience. Thank you to listen my simple podcast and see you in the next episode.